Hello and welcome. What the story say? Are you coming? Sit down, let us talk story. Oh, it's hot outside. So hot today, I had to go and get some watermelon up the street. It cut good. It was fresh. And since we're talking fresh, I come in. Now we talk the things. So today, I went out on the street walking and getting my little exercise in. Oh, by the way, what am I wearing? I'm wearing Dorothy. This is a legacy piece. I buy it. And this here, I call it go-go. Why do I say go-go? Because I got it on the streets of South Africa from a grandmother, and they call grandmothers go-go in South Africa. So this is what I call go-go. So that's that. Welcome the new subscribers. I have a few on Facebook. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you. You joined the family. And on YouTube, I have new subscribers. Thank you so much for coming along. I talk about Caribbean and Guyanese culture. I am interested in village rhetorics or village culture, how we do, how we act, how we think, and I'm working on our listening archives this period. So if you were new here, go back and watch the videos. You will see where I started and some of the things I've done. And over the years since doing this, I've grown a lot. And I'm happy to be here. The reason why I'm here, it's my happy place. As you know, I live in Japan and I don't always get out to meet other people from my country. So I meet you here every week. So what are we working on this day? We are working on pulling together what Guyanese say. So I started asking people on Facebook and you were game. You played it. So if you didn't follow, you probably wouldn't have seen everything that people said. So what I try to do is pull them all together and have them in one place so the newcomers can have them and the people who want to learn from us and know our stories, because you know, we are stories and so we must share them, right? So let's get busy. All right. More than words, what Guyanese mean. Some time back, I started with what a clock. This is a phrase I remember from playing this game in the schoolyard. Now this one divided the camp. I know, Mr. Wolf, what a clock? 1 o'clock, right? But I learned from you that some people don't say what o'clock. They say what time is it? Well, I know but y'all. But from the poll on Facebook, it seems as though most people remember this game. But the older ones like us, you know, like me, we remember what o'clock. And others remember what time it is. And like I said, some time back, my sister and I almost come to blows because she insists what o'clock don't rhyme. What o'clock rhyme for me? Me know it rhyme for she. And then I realized that it's a generational thing. And I was so excited to catch that in our orality, in the things we say. Cheryl reminded me that we learned these games in the village, in the street, in the pasture where we would play. And Creolese is our first language for many of us in the country. We speak Creolese. And for those of you who are new subscribers and you're non-Guyanese or you're in the diaspora, you left a long time ago, this is a place to learn how we speak. Mr. Wolf, what a clock? And we in the schoolyard and everybody's playing, a whole bunch of kids. One person is Mr. Wolf and the kids will ask like a teasing way. You just run up a step or two at a time. Mr. Wolf might say 8 o'clock and he's not doing anything. But if he says lunchtime, you better run for it. Because if he catches you, then you're out and you now become Mr. Wolf. Nobody wants to be Mr. Wolf. So that's how we played the game in the schoolyard. But from listening to the people and thinking about it myself, I believe that this game started in the streets or in the pasture. So to wrap it up, it really highlights a generational shift in the language, and it shows how our language has been preserved or when it's not being preserved. So I'm happy to bring that back to your memory. So check that. The next one I did, I think, is botheration. Botheration. If you see the word, you might not know how to say it, but let me tell you. Botheration means troublesome, nuisance, annoyance. I have my paper because it's a lot. A troublesome person or a child. You might say this way. This picnic botheration bad. Botheration bad. Bad means much. Too much. A lot. Noticeably so. We can say, oh, the lady there. Nobody with she to botheration. Especially some people who go to the market and go to buy fish and they always picking at the fish. Oh, this one at this one at that. Give me little boxes extra. People will say, no man proper botheration. So, the word botheration, I don't remember what I was doing in the garden, but the word came up to me and I started laughing because these words cracked me up. I'm like, what in the world is botheration? Come to find out that it comes from the word botheration. There's such a word as botheration. It comes out of Old English and Irish usage. They use the word botheration. Research tells me that it was used by Dickens in the 19th century in the book called Tale of Two Cities, that story. It was also used in other types of writing, especially for literature and for children. But Dickens used it in this way. Oh, what a botheration. Oh, what a botheration. So botheration is noun, right? For Dickens. And botheration is used in Enid Blyton. Those of you who are my age, we read all the Enid Blytons. And it more or less meant annoyance. And it can mean a person who's annoying or some like comedic, but it didn't have exactly the meanings that we put to the word botheration. So botheration as adjective means bothersome, troublesome. This word has crossed the colonial barrier because we were colonized by Britain. So the word comes botheration. Now we with the Creolese, we don't say botheration, no the. The is not in Creolese. Botheration. Now if you're from the countryside, is pure botheration. If you're from the city, you might say botheration. Well, me as a country gal, me don't say botheration. Me say botheration. If you study linguistics, we learn that Creolese is on a continuum. You got the acrolect, mesolect, and the basilect. Botheration must be towards basilect. If you say botheration, maybe towards, acrolect or mesolect. Somewhere there where it's closer to the English language. But Creolese, or other people call theirs patois like the Jamaicans, is a language of the people. It's called nation language by E.R. Braffett, right? I'm not going on that literary hole, but just to give you some reference. So, botheration came down through the generations with a Creolese pronunciation, local interpretation, eventually becoming what it is. But what I'm so excited about with this word is to see the change in the meanings. It's expanded from the simple annoyance all the way to something moral. It's used to describe conduct, and in the Creolese manner is a very judgmental word. I don't think in Dickens' time it was meant to be judgmental, but for us, botheration picnic. So you see somebody's child and you class him as or her as botheration. Annoying. And those are not lightly so. Properly disgusting, really repugnant. And that's what botheration can mean. Yeah. And it wasn't meant that way in Dickens' time or in olden times. So what we're seeing is a linguistic shift. we witness a kind of cultural evolution with this word, botheration. Got it? All right. I also talked about walking the corner. I had a lot of responses for that one. You know, when you see somebody and let's say you're sitting on your porch and they go in and say, good afternoon, Miss Pauline. Hi. Good afternoon, how you do? Well, I'm going to the baker shop. So. All right, go on, man. Walk in the corner. Now, mind you, this street doesn't have a corner. It means walk in the parapet. Walk on the side of the road. Physically walk there. It can also mean, according to you, to be careful. Travel safely. That's operative too. And it can mean watch out as well. Walk in the corner. You know, when my mother sent me to school as a little girl, she would say, go straight there, walk in the corner. Watch out for cars, bicycles, donkey, and even cow. Because, you know, back in the day, people graze cow anyway. Cow there, road, all kind of thing, right? It can also mean watch what you do and watch what you say. Teacher Claudette said that. And this is the context. You know, they send you down there. And they don't like to run your mouth. They say, now you're going over there, be careful. Walk in the corner now. Walk in the corner. Mind your manners. Think about what you say. See, think about what comes out of your mouth. That's walk in the corner. Another one is blessings. Like maybe you're going abroad and say, all right, you're going all right, walk in the corner. All those connotations it has. And it also means something else too. Imagine you're talking with a friend and you're telling the man, hey man, I want to buy this car. And he's saying, no, this car, I want a good car for buy. And he started to give you all the ins and outs of it. But you know, you're stuck on this thing of getting this car. You say, all right, walk in the corner. You know, walk in the corner. It's you. You're proposing something and the person's giving you an alternate view of it, but you're so adamant. Where you are walking the corner, whatever comes I do, whatever you get, you got take. That's what it means. Walk in the corner, you on your own. That's one of the meanings. Be alert, be vigilant, and all those things, right? I cover everything? I think so. The next one, well, my people, this one had me laughing like nobody's business. Ning ning. When some people say bye, my mother clap a lashing me with a plate cloth, a wet plate cloth. He catch me round my foot back or round my neck. Let me tell you, me see ning ning. What in the world is ning ning? And you gave me a set of meanings, and everyone I got, you should hear me. I laughed and laughed. It was fun. Thank you so much for that. Ning ning, according to the poll and the responses, it means pain so severe you see stars or or colors. Yeah, but you ever last year you see stars or colors? Or sometimes you bounce your head, as they say. You bounce your head and then you get bungi. You know what is bungi? This little hematoma, this big knot here. That's a bungi. You bounce your head and get a bungi, and accompanying the bungi is pure stars like that, you see. That is ning ning. It's associated with stubbing your toe. When you stump your toe and you get the blow, and you know you stump your toe, like your heart beating in the toe, the thing you see before that is ning ning. They say if you get a marabunta sting, you don't see ning ning. So the day now I posted this thing, what do Guyanese mean when they say ning ning? My people, no kidding. 5 calls, one after the other. I prepared to go to work. My cousin called me, y'all ning ning, and we start. I said, man, put the thing up in the YouTube and the Facebook. Then one for tell me them ning ning story. Why is this a ruction and contrary? You're supposed to put the thing there, type the comments. We're doing this archiving thing, what they're telling me. So I got to tell you what I say, because it's not all day. My cousin Jewel said, because ning ning is when they give you one good hard slap where they expect. Me say, geez, peas, me say, girl, then a slap, a box them backs you. If somebody come up to you and hand you a box, this is and that is where you see ning ning. We laughed and everything, you see? the language now bring out my cousin to give me a call, and we had a good laugh. It's how we just do it. Next thing you know, my cousin Dale upon the line. Hey, she start for laugh, but ning ning. When you stomp your toe, she said when you start see floaters. She say, when she dehydrated, she does see ning ning. She said when she exhausted, she does see them little stars and finey, floaty things. That is, according to her, ning ning. But I started to think of it as an unexpected impact that you get that cause you to have an ocular experience. It related to your eyes. Yes, you feel the pain, but it's what you just see is ning ning. Yeah, ning ning visual. Y'all agree with me, right? Good. Peter sent this one to me. Peter says, ning ning is very likely peculiar to Guyana, especially in terms of its nomenclature. Back in the day, when a student received corporal punishment, you know, why is it licks at school with wild cane? That since there's beat people nowadays in school? You don't think so? Yeah, they used to get wild cane for lash children. Children botheration picnic at school. They will beat them with wild cane for any misdemeanor. That was the result of the licks, ning ning. So, according to Peter, those who experience ning ning recover quickly. A true, you know? A true. When they give the hot plate class, so whoops! Ning ning immediately, oh, you know? And then immediately after, then you just recover from the ning ning. However, some instances warranted a shock and embarrassment, and long after the ning ning go away. So ning ning has to do with impact. It has to do with one's self-esteem, because when you get the licks, you kind of lose face. You get to be pulled down a little. Checked our words in use. All right, the one I just did last week was fresh. I was cooking something and I said, this fresh. And I started laughing. I said, if I tell somebody here in Japan that this food fresh, they'll probably agree with me and say, you know, I bought it, recently, like fresh vegetables and so. It has that meaning too. Fresh dictionary meaning mean new and things like that. But in Guyanese lifestyle and village life, it means more than, something new or just out the garden, farm to kitchen or farm to table. It means more than that. It could mean that it's lacking in seasoning or salt. As you saw, Danelle on the video, the girl clapped she pot, spoon she hand and lick, and she said, this little fresh. So it needs some seasoning or salt. It can also mean somebody is bold and out of character, out of line, presumptuous, precocious, capricious, all those words for fresh. Sometimes used for flirtatious behavior. So flirtatious behavior and out of line behavior, I'm going to give you a context where I first understood this notion of fresh. I was a little girl and I went to Mr. Newton's shop. He was a greengrocer selling all kind of thing. Mackerel, rice, sugar and everything. And a girl who was new to the village, Shandy, came. And Shandy was poetry in motion. I don't even think she was 15. But Shandy used to walk like that when you see she boy. And so Shandy sauntering Mr. Newton's shop. And he would have this banter with her because her mouth is sharp. She was very articulate. And so I don't know what Mr. Newton said to her, but whatever he said was out of character, and I believe it was not appropriate. All I heard Shandy say, Mr. Newton, I young in my face and young in my waist. I said, what kind of conversation is this for this young girl to say she young in she face and young in she waist, but she say you old in the face? So I took that away. I mean, I was like maybe 9 or 8. And then he said something to her I couldn't hear, but the girl was really fresh. And she said, Mr. Newton, if you ain't too big to stoop, I ain't too little for peep. I said, hey! what a thing. And this girl was a young girl. So that is what you call fresh. But she was standing up for herself. I don't know where she get them words and them analogies are from. But that's what Shandy said. So somebody said, fresh can mean body odor or needing a bath, a whole of fresh. It means that they're going to go and freshen up. I heard that. I heard Jamaicans say that. I think Trinidadians say that. Caribbean people say that. Guyanese say that as well. A fresh. And these are the 5: fresh, ning ning, water clock, botheration, and walk in the corner. And if y'all know why no, be careful with this walk in the corner business, because I get myself in trouble with this walk in the corner. I might tell y'all the story already, but I'm going to remind y'all. I told a colleague at work, after work, walk in the corner. The girl come to me 3 days later and said, Pauline, what's that thing you said to me? I said, what? She said, you tell me to walk the corner. I said, yeah, me? Me never tell you to walk the corner? How am I going to tell you walk the corner? Because walk the corner means you got to do the whole thing. You're lady of the night. How am I going to take me eyes past this woman that me even over tell she walk the corner? I meant walk in the corner. So our Guyanese sayings can come over, in ways people don't understand. So we have to be very clear that we are speaking using Creolese terms or Guyanese cultural terminologies, and chances are you will have to explain them. So overall, these expressions reveal recurring themes in Guyanese life, childhood, memory, social behavior, pain, bodily experiences, what we call lived experiences, troublesome people, but so much community care. When you say walk good, you care. When you say go take a fresh, you self-care. When you talk about this botheration picnic, that means you care about this child so much that you can call out their wrongdoings. And water clock, you're just having fun. Yeah, walk good. Tell me what you want to hear about next. Which of these terms resonated with you and which you use incorrectly or correctly. Thank you for subscribing and following. We are growing, as I said, and I'm so excited for where we go next. Yawa good. Oh, they tell me I got to say, like, follow, comment, subscribe. I never remember to say that. Please go push the button. It doesn't cost you anything. Just poke it there. Every time I put up a video, you will get notification. On Facebook, I think you just get notification when you follow. But on YouTube, when you push the subscribe button and the bell, every time I post something, you will see and you will hear. All right? We're going to meet up later.